The information items, President's update. As you know, hiring is going full force right now. I think we made more than 35 offers, but sadly enough, we have 2 who have declined. The 2 of both of them are in psychology, and since no provisions were made to have other people fill those positions if they are declined, the policy says it's over now, right? What does the policy say?
The policy says at the time that the finalists are forwarded, the committee can also decide whether or not it wants to send additional candidates in the event someone turns down the position.
Right, and since that was not done, so we will stop the search for this year. And I think this is the only area where people have declined, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think so.
Right.
We had someone decline in English before.
Yeah, but this year, I think this
Oh,
is the
this
only
year.
one this year.
This year, yeah.
We've been really fortunate.
Right. And I think it would be good in the future when the committees, when the meeting, that they send a couple more people, which gives me an opportunity, like I've always said it, it gives you an opportunity to see how the candidate that the committee is ranked as number 1 compared to others. And so far, I think I have more or less honored the wishes of the committees. The number 1 choice has always been the one that really shone out there, right? And so, right. But what it also gave me the opportunity to see was how they compared to the others, right? So, and we've done very well. I think we've done very well. But even though we're going for 50, my understanding from Crystal is that if we fill 45 positions, we'll be fine.
We should be very close.
We will be very close. So, because that will get us to the number at where we should be at 405.2. Our FTES number when school starts for the fall semester is 405.2.
Fine.
Yes, our faculty obligation number is 405.2. And therefore, even if we don't fill all 50, we will meet our funds, right? And like I said, 45, if we fill 45, bless you, if we 45 of the positions are filled, we will meet our fund. Yes?
There was sometimes there's talk about an adjustment in that number.
That's it, that's the adjusted number. That's the adjusted number,
Yeah.
which includes the additional funding that the state gave. But the next year there will be additional funding too.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like the additional funding for next year, even though it will apply to us, but it may not be required to be used for faculty hiring, because we are one of those districts that have a very high fund. Our fund is significantly higher than most other districts. And the districts that have lower fund numbers will be the ones that will be forced to hire so that they can bring their numbers up. Because right now, colleges or districts like Pasadena, but there are 6 or 7 districts like that, are carrying the state average for far, because we have significantly higher obligation numbers than the others. And we didn't do anything wrong for that.
Right.
It's not that we did anything wrong or did anything right. It just so happened when AB 1725 became law, I think Pasadena Area Community College District had gone through a big hiring, which gave us such a high number, such a high percentage, a high ratio, and the ratio needs to be maintained. Right? So those other districts, they were lucky, they had small ratios.
Right.
And so they didn't have to. They did not have to have such. I can give you an example. You take the case of the South Orange County Community College District. They have 2 colleges, and the 2 colleges together serve around 45,000 unduplicated headcount. They generate about 26,000 FTES. You know what their total fund is? Right? If you won't believe if I tell you, it's only 322, I believe, something like that. Right? And look at us, 23,500 something, right?
Wow.
And we have 405.3. Right? North Orange County Community College District is like that. They're always angry because of that. They're a huge fund. But see, I don't want to take too much of the time on that, but what people don't realize is that when you have a high fund, you know what it does? Because the money is the same, right? Now you have to divide that money amongst a lot of people. And what that does is, if you have $100 and you have 10 faculty members, each one gets $10. But if you have 20 faculty members, what you're going to give now is $5. And then when we compare, we say, well, they're getting paid much more than we're getting paid. And that's what it is. If you look at the salaries at South Orange, well, of course, they'll be basically district, but they're significantly higher. But if you look at Coast Community College District, right, they also have a lower fund. They have 3 colleges, right? And they generate, I think, about close to, with the 3 colleges, they do generate about 36,000 FTEs. And their total fund is under 500. You know? And they have, you get compensated the same. I mean, the apportionment is the same per FTEs. So your income is the same, and you have fewer people to distribute that money. Right? Long Beach has a fund of, I think, now about 360, slightly smaller than us. You know? And these are important things to consider. And last year, when the additional money was given to hire, initially everybody had agreed that the way it was taken to the legislature, but you probably can correct me if I'm wrong, the way it was taken to the legislature was that there would be an exception for about 12 or 13 districts that would get the money. They would not have to hire faculty. They could use that money to shore up salary schedules. But then at the last minute, the lobbying was such that that section, that was scrapped. All districts will use that additional money, will have to use that additional money to hire, and all districts were given the number of faculty that they would have to hire. That additional number of faculty that they would have to hire. Isn't that the case? Right? That's the case. You know? And suddenly what it does is it takes away the money that colleges would have had. All right? So that's where we are. So hiring is going very well, and we just talked about the hiring. And I want to thank the faculty and the staff of the college for the work that they have done in helping this college be an example, a role model for the whole state of California in how this college has focused on opening the doors. And I think about close to 65, between 65 and 70% of the new hires we have made this year, right, belong to underrepresented groups. And I think that's a great kudos for the whole college to be able to stand out there and say, of our hires so far, the 35 or so offers that we have made, right, at close to 70% of the hires have gone to underrepresented groups in the state. And this is a great thing. Summer is going very well. We're at about 77% capacity, which is not that great. I mean, it's not when we're on 77%. That tells us that perhaps we have classes that are under-enrolled. And then those are expenses. And those are expenses that we have to make. Okay. So, other than that, I think everything is going very well.
But we also have classes that haven't started yet.
Oh, we have classes that haven't started, right? We have 2 more start dates, right? 2 more
Right.
start dates.
I mean, the next one isn't for another
Right.
several weeks.
And of all the positions that we have filled, I think we have only one position that we haven't filled yet at the administrator's level, and that's the vice president for student services. And we will be, interviews have been set for that?
They have for the week of June 7th.
June 7th.
Mhm.
And
Or
hopefully that
6th.
same week or the following week we'll wrap it up. Okay. Update from academic affairs.
We are continuing to hire. We're still not done with the hiring. We have a few more hiring committees for faculty that are continuing. We are working to set our targets for 16-17, our FES targets. Yesterday, Crystal, Paul, Dr. Bell, I can't remember, there was a large group of us met and established the targets, which we'll be sharing with the deans, and then it will get forwarded to the various areas. We are working closely with Melissa Anderson on the SLOs. She came to the last dean's meeting, and we had a long discussion about improvements we're looking forward to making this fall as we look to disaggregating the results of SLO data as we are required to do, so that we know by group how students are doing. We're looking at completing some ADT degrees. The new global studies template was sent out, and we are interested in that one. It's a collaboration really between science, the geography area, and social science. So Dave Douglas has volunteered to spearhead that with his faculty in geography and to work collaboratively with social science. We had a large meeting about the CITEO, the Perkins money. We get several $100,000 a year, and the deans worked collaboratively with Solomon's area, and many faculty submitted requests. We reviewed those requests over an entire day. It's a very long, but very, I think, productive meeting, and so those have been submitted, and we'll wait to see the response to that. But I feel very positive about the collaborative effort that was. It was reflective for me of the process we went through for instructional equipment, where we gave out about $1.5 million in a very collaborative process that came from faculty requests up to the deans, a collaborative process, working with facilities, working with ITS. So those have been really good, and they do feed into our integrated planning process. We're continuing to finish up evaluations so that we can report on that positively in the accreditation report. And we're working to develop 2-year plans for all of our programs that can be put into our catalog, so that students can see what the possibilities are for getting in, completing within a 2-year period. I'm going to be working with Brock on that as it's part of one of the new Title V grants, and I'll work with Stephanie collaboratively on that. And I was just at a meeting with Cynthia, and I'll let her talk about that, but we're also collaborating on success centers, and she can provide the update for that. Making more of the tutoring centers we have currently.
Okay, very good. Any questions for Kathy? About accreditation update, I think we've done that. Is there anything?
There's a couple new things, if you could just a minute here. I've been working with Lenora over the since the semester ended. We're working on the AIPs as one area right now, so people are going to be getting little notices about things that they're responsible for. As you may or may not recall, we identified 49, we did this to ourselves, 49 actionable improvement items that we put into our own self-study. Yes, because we are number one.
That's not good. It sends the wrong message. It sends the wrong message to the commission. It sends the wrong message to everybody. Those people are in trouble. Look at they themselves know that they have problems.
So many of you will be receiving a little notice from us saying that we need updates from you on these. We don't have to report on them until the midterm, which is 3 years after the visit.
Can we just look at those AIPs and consolidate them in about maybe 5, 6?
I don't, most of them are already addressed.
Okay, so they're done then.
And then some other miscellaneous ones.
Okay.
And we're just going to create a chart, and we will report on each one. It won't be that difficult.
Okay.
But we're also talking about the final push for the follow-up report. We're going to make some additional changes over work that's happening this summer. We're going to put just those changed pages, track change it, or put it on a separate document with a list of what those changes are. The report is going to the board for approval on September 21st, so if we're looking backward from there, we're looking to finish the report by August 15th. We need it to go to the Senate on the 29th of August and the 12th of September. We need to work with classified on the dates when we can do that. So it will be done anytime. It'll be done after the 15th, and after that we can go into the classified Senate for 2 visits. We're working with Rebecca Cobb for dates we can get into the student meetings prior to it going to the board. So we need people's cooperation and assistance. But we're going to make it, the follow-up report as it was approved last semester will stand. We will just make a couple areas will have some additional paragraphs, and we will send those out and make sure. And it will also be posted to the accreditation website so that everybody on campus has access to the revised report.
I thought you said that when you post it, you will show the changes, right?
Yes.
It will be tracked, right?
Correct.
Okay, good.
Or a separate document just with the changes in it.
Okay.
Yeah, to make it very clear. And that's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Any questions? Student services update?
Sure. We are working on several communications to students, and this proves to be really challenging because students aren't checking their Lancer Point email account. And so we're looking at purchasing a large contract with a company called Mobomix so we can start text messaging students important messages. One of them is June 1st, which also happens to be my birthday, just to say. Yeah. The students need to turn in their FAFSA incomplete documents in order for us to be able to package them for fall. Many of your departments need, for example, federal work study students. Well, we could start as early as June to package the students with work study if we could get them to come in and bring their documents. So we're going to look at text messaging. And then in July, on July 7th, we have somebody coming in from San Diego, and they've created a communications app so that a student could load an app to their phone, and then we could send messages to that app. And that's another thing, because here's the next piece of information we have to send out to potentially 3,000 to 4,000 of our students. Now that all the grades are in, thank you to the teachers for submitting grades. As of Monday, we had all but, I think, 7 grades posted. Now we need to run this job to identify which students are losing their Board of Governors fee waiver based upon the new law in the state of California. We have to communicate to the students that they are no longer eligible for the free waiver to cover their $46 a unit, and also the appeal process. They have a chance to tell us that, here there was extenuating circumstances that prevented them from succeeding. And so we want to make sure those students get the message in time. That's the one other thing. And then in counseling, we're responsible for providing education plans for students who've completed 15 degree applicable units. That's through the new Student Success and Support Program law, which is SB 1456. We have 7,000 students at PCC who fit that category, who we still have not yet done their ed plan. We've completed around 3,500, but we still have 7,000 more to go. So that's why I just led a meeting with Kathy Scott, many of the instructional deans, and lots of student services people. So what I'm trying to do is help get us all to think more in an integrated way. The way students experience the college, not the way we have organized ourselves necessarily at the college. We organize ourselves in very, very structured boxes so we can efficiently get our work done. But the way a student experiences the college is us as a whole, right? The student, they know what they need. They try and access those services. So what we're thinking of doing is, since we already have tutoring centers in every area of the college, just enhancing those tutoring centers with a counselor, academic coaches, and peer mentors so that we can help connect students to their ed plan service so that when they do lose their BOG, they know where to go to get help. And it's not just one place on campus in the L building. So that when we need to communicate, hey, you're eligible for $6,000 of a Pell Grant. Please turn in this one paper you need. They can go in their own division and find somebody to help them with that. So that's something we can work on as a college. I know we can do it. I wanted to also report out, since the last college council, we were invited to participate in the next piece of the Aspen Prize for Community College Excellence, the $1 million prize for the #1 community college in the country. We participated in an interview. That's the next piece. They interview 50 colleges in the country. to see, should you make it to the next round, which is top 10, where they do a campus visit. What got us to that point to even be eligible to compete for the Aspen Prize is only 150 colleges of the 1,200 community colleges in the country are allowed to compete for this. What got us there is our ability to work together and provide the best service to students, whether it's in the classroom or in our departments. So we need to come together to now do this. So I look forward to doing it. I know it's possible. And I just think that we can do a great job of helping these thousands of students in these different populations of what I just described. It can't just be on the shoulders of student services. We can't do it without you, teachers. So then the only final thing, I've added 3 people to the student services managers team since we last met. Nikki Dixon is the permanent director for EOPS care and foster youth services. Tamika Alexander is the permanent director for outreach and transfer. And then we have a new associate dean of special services, and her name is Dr. Kitmani Kuanchao, and she will start in July.
She was hired yesterday.
Yes, and she comes to us from Mendocino College, and I recruited her from the LA Community College Registry Job Fair. So those job fairs do help.
They work.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. We unfortunately didn't come to closure on our dual enrollment coordinator position, so that position will be reflying. If you know
It will be the
anybody,
3rd time now.
4th time.
4th, okay, 4th time.
But regardless, the program continues to grow. We have Temple City now joining dual enrollment. They have around 200 of their high school students who will take the 9th grade career choices class in the fall. And instead of doing it dual, I've convinced them to do it through articulation, because Ofelia Arellano, Dr. Arellano, is helping me coordinate dual, and it's a lot of work. PUSD, South El Monte Union High School District, and Temple City. Between those, we'll have 1,000 students involved. So we're doing a great job in student services.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Dr. Olivo.
Yep.
I have a question for you. At what
Sure.
point might the students compromise their FAFSA if they're not? When is their drop dead on that?
They'll never lose eligibility. Once they're eligible, the problem is that if they don't submit their documents, they won't have their money in time for when they need the money.
Okay.
So they're never out of time. That's the hard part, unless, also that there's no firm deadline.
Right.
So it's just that if they turn things in by June 1st, it gives us plenty of time to package for fall.
Sure.
Okay.
Dr. Bell?
A quick question. On this integrated model, Cynthia, have the non-credit faculty been engaged in this?
That came up at the meetings. Dr. Ariano was there, and she brought it up. So I've added non-credit and Rosemead, so I'll be in contact with you to identify somebody.
Okay.
That
Thank you.
used to be a much bigger document. They have simplified it over the past 3 years or so.
Yes, they have.
I remember the first chart that they had was students could many.
Yeah.
Do you know how many contact points the student has before the student takes that first class in a college? Huh? More than 100.
Yeah.
And each one of them can either make the student come to that college or turn the student off from that college so badly that they never go, not only never come back here, they stop going, they don't even think of going to college anymore.
Yeah, and we are, thank you for bringing that up, in Harbison Hall this summer, starting July 1st, we're going to have an integrated welcome center.
Right.
So it'll be like welcome day every day in Harbison Hall. So students can go to one place and not 29 different places.
Oh, yeah.
Is what I've counted
Yeah.
for PCC.
I have a question. The social worker position is what's happening with that?
Good point. I've not yet brought that up with Dr. Verdian because we just discussed the student equity director position a few weeks ago, and we got that to get on the books. The next one that the Student Equity Committee wanted is a social work services advisor to centralize and coordinate social work services.
That's a managerial level position.
No, it's a classified staff position.
And how will that be funded when the money runs
Student
out?
equity,
Yeah, but when student equity money runs out, who will pay for that position?
a grant
A
that we will
grant.
find.
What if we don't get a grant? That is something that has to be discussed
Yeah.
more in depth because
Okay, yeah.
somebody has to figure out how to pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because what I didn't tell you is I think all of you have heard it, that next year's budget will be about a deficit of $4 million. So before we consider any position, whether it's grant funded or not, if it is an administrator level position grant funded, the grant runs out, we can close it. We can cut that position, it doesn't exist. But if it is a classified position that is funded by a grant, when that 1 year runs out, that person is yours to keep, with or without grant. So that is why, even though you say, well, it's funded by a grant, we have to think twice before we say yes to a position. Can we absorb it within our operation? If we can, we will not move forward with the position, even if you have the money. Right? We will have to figure out a way of making it happen for you, but somebody has to figure out how to pay for it. And we just said earlier on, we can't give more in salaries because there's only so much. And if you have more people now, divide it up with more. Okay. Any question for Dr. Olivo?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Standing committees update. We have facilities and sustainability.
Yes,
Yes, Mr. Ruben Smith.
thank you. The Facilities Sustainability Committee primarily been working on master planning. So I'll give you an update on master planning and what we've done as a committee. The first thing that we've done as a committee is we've invited several of the faculty, we have 18 committed, into assisting with the Centennial Facilities Master Planning process to ensure that we're meeting those needs of what the spaces should look like, going beyond teaching and learning, also the doing piece of that. We've actually incorporated everyone from all of the divisions and services groups, as well as the standing committee itself, to actually meet every 2 weeks. And then we'll still have our facility standing committee meetings. In the last meeting, we went through space utilization and standards. I think that it's very important to nail down our space utilization space first, and ensuring that we are as efficient as possible with those spaces, and identifying some standards, because we cannot grow too large based on the fact that we are a very dense, and with our 54 acres, we are probably one of the highest in amount of space per student. Looking at the square footage, we're probably at about 5,000 square feet per student, where you have someone like Mount Sac that's roughly at about 900, which is probably about a good average. 960 is probably the best. So that's what we're looking at there. So we don't just grow based on, of course, the educational master plan, and then looking at what we're looking at for growth at 1.1%. We have to grow efficiently and effectively. So that's actually repurposing existing space, moving, creating the synergies between divisions, and then what the offices need to look like, the student services spaces, as well as administration. HGA is hard working right now at infrastructure strategies. They're also developing actually finalizing sustainability design principles that will take in consideration what xeriscaping, which is replica plantscapes, synthetic turf, along the frontage of Colorado and throughout the campus to address the drought. Also the climate commitments and the zero net energy goals that the governor has set for 2025 and 2030 to be zero net energy ready. There's also a presentation at the board meeting last week. We went through a very detailed presentation of a conceptual plan, and we also went through a very, very preliminary estimate of what that conceptual plan would look like. That's just over $1 billion. Packaged with that was also a presentation, and I hope everyone's seen the newsletter that went out, as the community survey. So the community survey is very favorable if there was a proposed bond of as much as $888 million. There was 71% favorable support from the community throughout all 7 districts. So that is very, very positive if the decision is to move forward with a bond. Regardless of a bond or not, if that's going to be something decided for 2016 or 2018, we still have to complete the master plan. So I think we need to understand that those are separate but distinct things that have to occur this year. Decisions have to be made. We still have to do the master plan no matter what. That's something we think we'll commit to for the next 20 years. And other than that, any questions or comments?
Thank you very much. And as Mark Whitworth was saying, you did a wonderful job with that presentation. And you didn't have much time to prepare. And you kept it within my time frame.
That's always a challenge.
You notice I don't like long presentations. We all know that 5 minutes, I don't want more than that. If we can say it in 5 minutes, we might as well not say, not make a presentation. Because by the time you reach that 57th minute, people have already forgotten what you said. Okay, old items, discussion and possible action. We don't have any from our senior scholar.
Sorry.
No?
Nothing.
Can we revive anything from the past?
You could.
That's okay then, let's not revive that. All right. New item, discussion and possible action, facility sustainability standing committees membership. Mr. Rubens made or Ms. Corwood?
Well, the reason it's on here is when you collapsed these two committees, they had different memberships, and you've now established new membership for the one committee, and we asked Ruben to weigh in on what he thought it should be.
So I believe you have the handouts on those?
Yes.
This is what the membership I'm proposing to be. It's combining the two committees. The sustainability standing committee was one that has been a challenge over the last couple of years. I think that combining these two committees makes sense because we deal so much with sustainability with the facility standing committee. They should be one and the same. And having two meetings, it was just more or less me meeting with a couple of students every month and coming up with ideas or things that we can do to support some of the ideas that the students have moving forward. One of those ideas that came out of that committee was the brittle water filter stations that we've spread across the campus to eliminate water bottles. And that's actually been gone over very, very well. That was a student recommendation. So I'd like to combine them and leaving that with a membership of 14 plus 4 resources.
So the new committee will be comprised of 14 members?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the one that you have on page, what is it?
It should,
Because you have the two, but I don't see the one for the new members, the new committee composition.
is it not included? I recommended, I have a recommendation that actually combines these two, and it says that I give the
Because here we have
terms
this one.
of 5. Is it in there?
Oh, how come I didn't get that?
We may not have.
Oh, that, I didn't have that one.
So it looks like 14, and then the terms are 2 years and 3 years.
Oh, I have it. Right. It's all over the bottom here. Okay, thank you. All right. So this is what we have now, right? Now, what would you tell to Mr. Justin Hanvey, who will not be co-chair anymore?
He hasn't been co-chair in a couple of years.
Oh, he hasn't been co-chair in a couple of years?
No.
No, what we have here says he's the co-chair.
Yeah, so that hasn't been.
So he's gone then?
No, he's
Not on the committee anymore? Huh?
No.
Okay.
I'm glad
Oh.
to see that you have Michael Cranfield on that committee. I think he'll do a very conscientious
And what would you
job.
say to Deborah Wood?
I would offer her the opportunity to join the standing committee.
Okay.
The
Well, that would be the
facility
Senate
standing
that would
committee.
make that offer.
Yeah, so the Senate
Yeah.
can make that offer.
Okay, all right. So this has gone through all the processes and everything that they need to go through, the committees know about it?
The committees know about it. We haven't had a quorum to make a vote on it just yet, but they are very aware of it, and we haven't had anyone from the committee oppose it.
Okay, what about
And two of the
this
one of the
committee,
members-
the College Council? How do you feel about moving forward with these two committees combined into one? And this is a committee that reports to College Council, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Less committees is always better.
okay.
Are you asking for a motion?
No, I'm asking a little bit of, yeah, maybe a motion because before we can, yeah?
It was, I can't remember, 5 or 6 years ago when this decision to separate the sustainability out, and it was kind of controversial at
Okay.
the time, and it didn't seem like it ever got a good start.
Okay, all right, we have a motion to move forward?
Process reasons, this committee already voted to combine the two committees into one. We already did that.
We already did that.
What we needed to vote on today is the actual membership,
Oh,
is
okay.
the council's decision on what the membership of the
Okay.
standing committee should be based on Ruben's recommendation.
Okay,
Move to approve the
move to
membership.
approve, second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Unanimous, all right. Number 2, Planning and Priorities Accreditation Provisional Standing Committee, another standing committee. Yes, Dr. Scott.
This group voted to separate planning and priorities from the accreditation standing committee. What I'm here is to ask if planning and priorities can stand as the accreditation committee just for the beginning of fall, so that when we are putting the follow-up report through, that it goes to that committee for approval. I've been working with Lenora. We have a draft of what we believe the membership of the accreditation committee should be, but I would like to spend some more time looking at that. But we will come to this group for approval of that.
So right now we have one committee.
Well, we separated them out.
We separated them out.
But up until the end of last semester, they were functioning as one committee.
So we separated them out effective the 16-17 school year.
Yes.
But
Yes.
we don't have any committees set up yet.
Oh, we don't have the people identified from the
Okay.
classified or the faculty to get it through.
Okay.
And we need an approval immediately in the beginning of the semester.
Okay.
And the groups can't appoint people that quickly.
So what we are asking this group to do is to let the Planning and Priorities Committee function as the accreditation committee for the first part of fall.
Correct.
Or for the whole fall semester? Or for the fall?
No, just until we get the report to the board on September.
Oh, you might as well keep it the whole fall semester because you're looking at through the end of September. Huh?
Well, that's a decision we can talk about.
What do you think?
I'd
I
like
think
to
the
get-
sooner we get the
I
accreditation
think so,
standing
too.
committee up and running, the better.
I think so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I was what you're saying, okay.
So,
Yeah,
So
I
then
would
the fall,
prefer-
so
Just through the end of September?
through the end of September, make it through the 15th of October.
Okay, 15th of October, because that's when just in case. there's
Right,
other
in case
issues with
something
the
happens,
report.
make it the 15th of October then.
Yeah.
Do I hear a motion? So what will the motion say? A motion?
PMP will function as will continue to function as the accreditation steering committee through
October
October
15th.
15th, 2016. At which point the
Okay.
accreditation steering committee will take.
As an amendment to the previous separation,
Correct.
right, okay. Move,
Also
motion,
moved.
all right. Moved by Jeannie Sullivan, seconded by,
I'll second.
all right, Mark Whitworth. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Number 3, Spring 2016 Campus Climate Executive Summary. Ms. Goldrush, you want to talk about it? You all got a copy of it, right? Some got a black and white version, others got a colored version. I think that Ms. Goldrush was looking at playing favoritism. Yeah, I got a black and white version. Why did I get a black and white version?
So this was the survey that we ran during the month of April, and for the most part, we're seeing some positive improvements. Communication is still an issue, but we do see that folks feeling a little bit better about the overall shared governance process. Still some issues with understanding our internal processes. We need to continue to work on that. The one surprising item that we felt in this one was we saw an overall dissatisfaction by the classified staff throughout this survey, and that was pretty new. So that is something the college will need to address as soon as possible. Otherwise, mostly pretty positive. There's one more piece to come on this, which is the open-ended questions. We now, in our office, have what's called a text analytics software, so we just feed the 213 responses into it, and it comes up with themes for us. So we'll be adding that onto this as soon as it's done analyzing.
Any comment? Question? No.
We'll do this again next year, Crystal?
We will do it in spring 2017.
So every spring we'll do that?
Well, we were for a while until people are really happy, then we won't ask.
Okay.
It's done.
Was that the state of Washington that had Prozac in their water? You know about that, right? Was it Washington or Oregon? One of those two states in the 80s. In the water. You're laughing. I'm not making that up.
Was it unintentional or was it?
No, it was intentional. I don't know. Go check. You will find out. I think it was 80. I'm not sure.
I worked in Washington, so I'm pretty sure it was Oregon.
I know it was one of the two states. Yeah. It was done at the recommendation of the APA. And I guess they did that, but whatever it was, the people felt very happy.
I have another question. Is there any specific group that convenes to address the findings?
That's an excellent question, and since I'll be taking over planning and priorities in the fall, I'm gonna ask that they review this
Mhm.
document as well
Yes.
as some of the other documents my office produces.
Great, thank you.
Is that the group that reviews all survey findings?
They haven't in the past, but they are going to start,
Okay,
because
very
I'm gonna
good.
chair it and have them do that.
Do
Because
we-
you wanted me to chair it.
Yeah. Do we also have a research council, or is that together
We're
with
working on that.
the research council? Probably
That would be
that,
separate.
then that the research council could take over that whole, the reviewing of all those results, no?
This probably should stay with planning
Okay.
and priorities, it's a planning.
That's fine by me. Yeah, okay. Anything else on this? College Council Standing Committee Guidelines.
You want me to address it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so at the last college council meeting, it was asked if we had guidelines for the functioning of this committee, and if I would draft some, so I did a little research and looked at what other colleges were doing and came up with this draft proposal of how college council and the standing committees would operate. It includes things about how meetings are run, but it also talks about appointments, vacancies in terms of service, and how we replace resignations or inactive members. So it's a first draft.
Mhm.
It's not a done deal. I
Right.
just went out and saw what other schools were doing and kind of drafted it into guidelines that I thought would fit this college. There is one thing that I haven't addressed in here that we need to consider is that if the standing committees would choose to develop work groups under them, if you want me to include that in here as part of the standing committee process. And who should approve the membership of the work groups for a standing committee. We address it for the council, how we would approve memberships for a work group, but not for the standing committee wanting to form. Does that make sense?
So shall we take that to our various constituent groups, right? And then we'll bring it back at the next college council
In the fall,
in the
correct.
fall?
Right.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
we're not meeting.
because you were not meeting, you're not meeting. Okay. Announcements. Anyone has any announcements? We can go from Mark.
Nothing.
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 Jean? Monica? No. No. Anyone? All right, well, item 7. Do I hear a motion? Moved by Julie, seconded by, all right, Joe. All in favor of adjournment?
Good meeting.
How you feel about the first meeting?
Good meeting. 48 minutes, it's a good meeting.